something called cold traffic, right? So obviously you can guess what cold traffic is. People who don't know you, people who never heard of you, people who never seen you, period. Second traffic is warm traffic. And you guessed it. Warm is people who heard of you, but they're not really sure who you are, right? It's like, oh yeah, I've heard of that person. And finally, we got hot traffic. People who are in love with you. They read your blog, they listen to your podcast, they see your YouTube video, okay? Now, this type of temperature, cold, warm, hot, will determine what funnel your prospect goes through, okay? And we call this the bridge right here. We'll put a big B in quotations, the bridge. And let's draw a bridge. Okay, I'm not a good artist. I'll try my best. You know, we'll dry some nice water here. Wow. Right, that's the bridge. And they're going over the bridge. And where does the bridge lead? It leads to 3 different separate, keyword, separate, unique funnels, okay? So if we are driving traffic, say, to a cold funnel, right? We'll put T for traffic right there. Left hand over here, we'll draw a nice wiggly T, right? So if traffic is coming to the cold people, we're sending traffic to a cold prospect, we have to create a certain funnel that I like to call Indoctrination Funnel. A funnel bringing in the new cold prospect into the ecosystem of your business. And I like to have anywhere between 1 up to 7 day indoctrination funnel, and it looks like this, okay? Let me just slide this over, give more space. Beautiful. So email 1, I'll write it in blocks to understand what you're doing, okay? And we'll end at 4 for now, okay? Email 1, we'll call it the IN, an indoctrination email. This email, you want to state your philosophies of what your company and brand is. You want to state who you are, and you want to actually bring in your new cold prospect into the ecosystem of your brand, okay? They receive this email right away, okay? The second email they receive is day 2, and this email should be a case study. So maybe, for example, if you're selling a coaching practice, this is where you actually give them a case study of a client you had. Or say you're selling a physical product, this is where you actually have a story of a client using your product. You're not actually pitching them anything over here. Once again, it's just storytelling. So we call this a case study, okay? Number 3, once again, this email is a wow email. So let's, W-O-W. This is where you surprise them. Oh, that's horrible spelling. Let me grab my thing. So this is where you surprise them with a gift, okay? And it can be absolutely anything. If you have a physical product, it can be free plus shipping, which actually takes you to a whole different funnel, which I can talk about in a later video. But for this video, you want to wow them, okay? And a wow is maybe a free report, a free ebook, a free video, right? It's something unexpected that you offer more value in your customer's life. And this also ties into the laws of marketing, which is the law of reciprocity, right? If you give somebody tremendous value, they appreciate you more. And the final email, for the purpose of this video, I mentioned coaching, is to set up a call, right? So we can draw some weird telephone. I really need to go to art school. But let's do this here, right? It can be a telephone, right? We set up a call, and in that call, you want to close them. This funnel alone, if you do it right, let's talk numbers over here, okay? So if we have 100 people in this cold funnel, going through the whole funnel, roughly about, I would say, 60% will actually go and see your final email, meaning they've done it in sequence, indoctrination, case study, wow, and that's 60%. Out of those 60, so it'll be 60 people who actually want to set up a call, I would say 20 people. Out of the 20 people who actually set up the call, let's bring that over here. Out of the 20 people who set up the call, I would say roughly you should be, on average, you should close 5. But you're closing 5 anywhere between 2 to 5K, okay? This is a week. Do the math. So 5 times 5, what is that? $25,000, okay? A week, not too bad if you have a system properly set up, right? So think of that, per year, what you can make. That's cold, okay? Now let's talk about warm. So warm traffic, people who are aware of you but really don't know too much of you, okay? So once again, we'll start off with indoctrination because they don't really know who you are, but they heard of you. And indoctrination can be the same, okay? However, since they're kind of aware of you, this is where you can test at what stage they are. So I would actually offer something over here of an OTO or a tripwire. I made a video before about an OTO or a tripwire. And a tripwire, what this is something of low value. Not low value as a product, but low numerical price value, meaning you're offering anything between $1 even up to, say, I don't know, I'll just say $17 even, okay? Now, remember, the whole point of the tripwire is two things. It's going to segment your list into buyers, okay, and into non-buyers, as well as the tripwire purchase can recoup your traffic over here. And all the traffic I'm talking about is paid traffic. I'm not talking about organic because it's hard for me to quantify organic, where it's coming from, etc., right? So if paid traffic is costing us $5 a lead and we're recouping our money over here, fantastic, our point of sale is made, okay? So now you have two different segmentations over here. You have buyers and you have non-buyers. Now the buyers right away, since they had a tripwire, they got their credit card out already, you want to upsell them over here. So it's a whole different email sequence. So upsell 1, upsell 2, and we continue on. I'm not going into detail. Now the non-buyers of the tripwire, this is where it gets interesting, okay? So they didn't accept the tripwire. And what most people do is keep on sending them other emails. Wait a second. If they're not accepting a tripwire, why keep on engaging them in regular emails? Let's deliver some value towards them. Let's solve some problems. So the next email towards a non-buyers would be a webinar. We'll put a big W, webinar. Now the webinar should be solving key problems of your clients. So think of 1 to 3 problems your clients have and create a webinar around that. Now the webinar, once you have the webinar, that webinar will be a pitch later on into a product. Now, obviously, I didn't include a bunch of steps in there, but this is just simplifying it so you have understand how the warm funnel looks like. Okay, so that's the warm funnel. Now, let's get into the hot funnel. So once again, paid traffic, and the hot funnel obviously is for people who love you and know you. Awesome sauce, right? So the hot funnel, I'll do 2 types of funnel. I would have right away, we funnel them into a webinar, okay? And the webinar will follow up with 2 emails before the webinar, okay? So day 1 is a what? So they already registered, right? So this, okay, I just want to rewind over here. There's 2 parts over here, a yes and a no. So people that do yes, they go this way. People that say no, they'll go this way, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so the yes people, they registered. The next day, they get a what? What are they going to learn in the webinar? So you want to remind them. In day 2, they're going to say why they need to show up. You need to show up because you're going to make 6 figures in this business, or you're going to become happier, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I'm not too sure what you're talking about, but you get the gist, you know, what and why, okay? Then finally, day 3 is the webinar. So we always have the webinar 3 days out, and it's all automated or live, doesn't matter. So that's the actual webinar. Now, at the end of the webinar, let's move that over here so you can see. At the end of the webinar, once again, you have a yes and a no, okay? And yes, obviously, is buy, and then we can go with upsells and upsells and upsells that way. And no is very simple. No will bring them into something called a downsell, right? Let me bring that up over here. So downsell is this. Say you were selling a product up here. We'll go back up here. Say you were selling a product for $4.97, right? And people didn't buy it. Well, guess what? The people who didn't buy, you can offer them something over here for maybe $47, right? It's a downsell. Maybe $4.97 was too much. So at the name of the game is always communication and always selling them something. But once again, the products and services you're selling is of epic value towards them, okay? And once again, I'm just simplifying this so you get the idea between cold, warm, and hot, okay? Now, the people that didn't register over here, right? This is what we're going to do. We're going to send them into a re-engagement campaign. So what happened over here was the people that said no, so we sent traffic over here. We actually cookied them, meaning we pixeled them. We put a P over here. We pixeled them with the code from Facebook or Google, whatever you want to use. And now what we're doing is we're going to send them an ad, okay, on Facebook, on YouTube to offer another lead magnet. Right? So they see this ad, this lead magnet. The lead magnet can be directly tied into the webinar. It can be a report, okay? And the lead magnet can be a book, okay? It can be a video series, etc. The whole point of this is to recapture them, because from the lead magnet, once again, we just want to get their email address. Okay? Email address, that's it. And this is just a general, I mean real simplified general system when it comes to cold, warm, and hot. It can get much more complex, which it does. However, I just want to show you the difference. And if you really put this to practice, you know, if you actually rewind this video and watch it over and over again, you can increase your conversions overnight. You don't need more, new traffic or more traffic, right? You already have the traffic. You just have to optimize each channel, because each channel between the cold, warm, and hot has a different psychological presence, meaning the framing is different, right? When we're talking to cold prospects, it's different. When we're talking to warm prospects, is different. When we're talking to hot prospects, is different. And each single funnel is different, but each single funnel, we're selling the same thing. It just, we're framing it different. So there you have it, the cold, warm, hot type of funnel. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more help with this, you can reach me at ameerrosic.com. Have a great day.